Hello, hello, viewers.
Welcome to episode 10. Yes, we've made it to 10 so far for Fleet Action Report. Yeah, I guess this. You said you're excited. This is the 10th episode.
I feel like it's a hurdle. Like we've made it to 10. That's a big deal, right? So we've been live for a month and a half now. Or sorry, two and a
Two.
half months. Math is hard.
Hey, we're
Um,
talking. We're not doing math and stuff and things.
um, yeah, well, like I said, math is hard. Um, yeah, so episode 10. I'm pretty excited for this. Not that I haven't been excited for the show earlier, but episode 10, it's kind of a big deal.
We've learned much, like how I can mute Nikodas and completely screw up an episode.
Or
Stuff like
not
that.
do that for the other 9.
Hey, you gotta have some errors here and there. I'm not Data.
Growing pains. Well, even Data makes mistakes.
True.
So in those 10 episodes, we have taught different aspects of the game. We've helped a couple new players to join the game, and we've talked about some aspects of gameplay itself, which of course was our initial goal. We wanted to be different. We wanted to actually show not only the gameplay itself, not only do mission run-throughs, but actually show like how to play and how to change settings and stuff like that. We still have a lot to do left, but I think we've been doing pretty good so far.
We've talked about changing settings, and I just remembered, we never have done the keybind thing yet.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
So,
I also want to talking about things we want to do. So going forward, we want to highlight some of the amazing things the game has done, such as the voice actors. They have brought several actual actors from the various shows, into STO and had them reprise their roles, which was pretty cool. We started a multi-part episode and in highlighting our enemies. We want to continue that. And of course, we want to keep things fresh and new as we move forward and always have something new to talk about. At least that's my goal. What about you, Grebog?
I want to just have fun. Oh, wait.
Don't we always?
I enjoy helping people. I enjoy the game. And as I've told some of my friends that have tried to get to come and play, you don't have to be a Star Trek fan to come and play Star Trek Online. I mean, this is a sci-fi MMO, and I find, to me, I think you can have fun even if you've never really cared about Star Trek.
Not to mention the space combat in this thing is just amazing.
Yeah. If
Which we're going to show off some.
I was like, if you're not into like spreadsheets in space, or as other people call it, Eve, this is probably a really good space combat game for you.
Yeah. So there you go. Just in a real quick other news before we get into the nitty gritty of today's episode, I have a job interview tomorrow. I'm going for a promotion at work, so keep me in your thoughts and wish me luck on the way. Other than that, my week has been uneventful.
My week, let's see. I'm so busy I can't remember what day happened. Let's see. I killed Nikodas in another D&D game, but
again,
a different character this time. Let's yeah. I like I said, I do so much stuff. It's hard to keep track of my life, and
I try never to get involved in my own life. Too much trouble.
I guess I did have a birthday 4 days ago, so that happened. I'm older now.
Aren't we all?
I'm no longer the answer to life and all things. So the question that,
Life, the universe, and everything, but
yes.
That's a different sci-fi show. All right.
For those
so,
that know sci-fi, now know roughly how old I am. And
so,
thank you.
So this week in STO, we started a new event. It's called To Hell with Honor, and it involves a task force operation, or TFO, that we are going to go ahead and run. So let me queue us up for that, because I am the party leader. Oops, wrong screen.
You notice there is actually 3 of us in the party. We have Tabitha tagging along today for at least some of this.
Who's a fleet member.
And awesome, because Tabitha has helped us with show notes recently. Yeah.
Okay, To Hell with Honor is ready to play. Towel. Nice, Tabby. Most dangerous weapon in the universe, the towel. So in this TFO, it is a space battle, so you are in your ship, but you're actually engaging with ground-based targets. We're going to have
moon battle.
Okay, fair enough, but we're still shooting at the ground. I mean, there's turrets, there's walkers, there are shipyards. So you'll see that here in a minute.
I don't know how I will fare on this person. This captain, well, I don't know. This captain's not as geared as my other captain.
Well, let's see here. You are in a Scimitar class battleship. Yes. I am in the Tier 6 veteran reward. And it looks like Tabby over there is in a standard Romulan warbird.
Wait.
And our friends here, yeah, and she's cloaked. Our friends here appear to be flying the brand new ship that was just released from originally shown in Star Trek Picard. Now released in this one. It is a Phoenix prize ship. So you can see them focused right here. Oh, here we go. Better cloak. All right. So here's the first round of combat here. You can see the turrets starting to open up fire. We are going to unload on the ships. Ooh. My shields were knocked out. That's not a good thing. Okay, something worth noting. Now, we talked a couple weeks ago about the Romulan ships having access to a battle cloak. We're going to highlight that a little bit. The whole point of these turrets is to keep you engaged in combat so you cannot move around real well. But if you can cloak, then you can engage full impulse and move a heck of a lot faster. Big advantage in this TF.
Yeah, I'm learning that would be, handier. Yeah. I feel like I'm cheating here.
I know, right?
Haha, battle cloak and I'm gone. I'm gonna go over for Gamma. Oh, I blew. They shot me while cloaked.
Okay, so that is one disadvantage, just like in the shows. Once you hit your cloak, whatever button you use to cloak, your shields drop. At that moment, you are vulnerable to enemy attack. It does take a couple seconds for the shields to come back up. So if you are damaged in that time, it goes straight to your hull, and if they hit you hard enough, you will blow up. So although the battle cloak is certainly a handy ability to have, you need to watch it because of that.
Or you'll be like me. Oh, here, someone's over at Epsilon that looks like they could use some help. I'll head there.
I was going to go there. I ended up over here at Gamma. We got one more ship here. Oh, there we go. Tabby got it. Shields back up. Okay. So you also see this little banner down here. This is a selection of special abilities that only the Romulan Warbird ships have. This is based on singularity energy, because all the Romulan ships work on a singularity warp core rather than the Starfleet and Klingon Empire antimatter warp core. So these are abilities as you combat, the energy builds, and then you can activate these special abilities. And they do different things. Like this one enhances your energy weapons. This one does a small jump forward. This one summons some holographic images to confuse your enemies. Quantum absorption gives you temporary hull and shield points. And plasma shockwave is just a big burst that explodes from your ship. We're supposed to be fighting.
Team Fortress is a go. Haha.
Right.
No, I have that on this ship. I remember why I have that on this ship. Because of the whole shield thing like he was talking about, and them sometimes needing some time to come back online. I have I think it's an item to use that gives Team Fortress, which gives like a massive damage mitigation buff to the entire team. Hence it being called Team Fortress, it's not a party or fortress or of course they don't have parties in STO. We're all about teams.
That Klingon ship just battle cloaked on me. That was not fair.
Well, if it's the Lucara, that's what it does.
I didn't think I was fighting, but maybe. Oh, there she is. Okay, so this is where the Alachi show up here. This is where we start fighting some more ground targets. The goal here is to take out the reactor, which is highlighted with the green arrow pointed down. There are shield generators. I have one highlighted now that protect that reactor. So the goal is to take those out and then hit the reactor with everything you've got. The reactor will explode with a very large explosion that can damage ships and, anything in the blast radius.
Don't mind me blowing up all the time. It happens. And yes, they used the song for Flight of the Valkyrie in this TFO. My other ship does so much better in this. But it's also way better geared. Well, I should say my other captain with his ship.
Oh, gear matters, like in most MMOs.
Help.
All right, so this is the TFO. You complete this 14 times, and you'll earn the reward. There's the explosion. That hurt. You'll get both a combat pet and a non-combat pet of one of these walkers you can see blowing up down below me. So that's handy. We also had Star Trek Day this week. Kind of the birth of Star Trek. It's when I believe
original series premiered.
Yeah, TOS premiered. So that's handy, or not handy, but you know, it's a good celebration. They came out with some legendary ship bundles, or re-released the legendary ship bundles. Quite a bit of money, but you do get 10 ships, very, very powerful ships. I'd even call them tier 6.5, maybe.
I would say they're about 10% and more powerful than the standard versions of the same ship. That's probably a good approximation. But they want $240 for them, so.
For the small one. The larger
yeah.
pack is more expensive than that.
Yeah, well, I guess I was looking at the one that I figured that would be the only one I could afford. I need to get out of this or I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm gonna have to bail. Where's that shield generator? It's a little more intense than I was expecting. I was planning on talking more through this, but this fight is pretty intense. I'm having to really watch my shield rates and whatnot. There goes the reactor. That'll help. Okay, cloaking again. For Star Trek Day, they also came up with a Starfleet ship museum. It is in space above ESD, Kronos, and DS9. So they have they have versions of the ships from each of the shows that you can go up to and kind of scan, talk to, if you will. And once you have visited all 10 ships, you get a special title. So that's still ongoing. The legendary ship bundles were only up for a day. Yep, and those were brought back down. But the museum is still available. So today, the reason we are playing characters that are not fully geared, we have decided to highlight the Romulan Republic. So we are all playing Romulans today.
Tabitha might be better geared. I think Tabitha really likes, like her Romulan, or at least Romulan Republic. I don't know if it's a Reman or Romulan. Could be either.
Yeah, so that's the races that you can play as of the Romulan Republic are the Romulans, the Remans. If you are a lifetime sub, you have the liberated Borg Romulan, and then the Alien Creator is available for the Romulan faction. So yeah, not really sure which one Tabby's playing. I am actually playing a Romulan. This is my main Romulan character. I do have a Reman as well, who just hit max level, and I wanted something with a little bit more oomph today. So I'll work on gearing the other one up and maybe highlight that at another time. But for right now, I'm trying to blow up some walkers here. As you can see, the Romulan ship designs are very bird-like. You have outstretched wings, typically some sort of beak. What's up?
I died again. That's all. I'm laughing at my death. I have not
died yet. I'm trying to keep it that way, although I am very low on shields right now. Here, let's get some shield points back. Do that temporary burst. Again, I just used a singularity power quantum absorption. Kind of give myself a health boost here while we're fighting. Kaboom. Cloaking.
I'm sliding.
Class options. Pretty much the class options are the same for every faction in STO. You've got your tactical, your engineering, and your science officers. The one I am currently playing, Nonara, here is a tactical officer, which is my preference. Grebog, I believe you're playing an engineer again?
Nope. I think I'm on tactical. What am I playing? I don't know anymore. I'm tactical.
It is tactical. I see the symbol up there. You are playing tac. That's a little odd for you.
Might be why I'm blowing up more than I'm normally used to. I don't have the survival that I'm used to having. So I rush in and blow myself up. You know.
Oh, shoot. Shields are gone again. Ouch.
Secondary shields. Use those. Those are fun.
Not on this ship.
Oh. My ship, I don't know if that's a console I have or what. That's the thing. I set this character up and I don't really fully remember because I don't play him enough what I do. Here, I'll give everyone Team Fortress again.
Thank you.
But
The Romulan faction, although it is its own faction with its own unique storyline, at a certain point in the Romulan story, you are allowed to pick if you want to be allied with the Federation or the Klingon Empire. At which point you gain access to a unique uniform, and I'm dying again. A unique uniform. That faction's ships. I did manage to cloak. 21% hull, but I'm still alive. There's the big walker. That's the final boss in this TFO. So once that choice is made, it cannot be unmade. You will be allied with that faction for the rest of that character's career. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing.
They make it fairly obvious on you when you have to choose, so it's not like a surprise you picked a faction. So you don't have to worry so much about that. I know some games they... Ow.
Yeah, that hurt.
Some games they kind of surprise you a little bit. I do really encourage people to create a Romulan character, whether Riemann, Romulan, Liberated, Borg versions or whatnot. The story I found was very well done. The mission at some point, there is something that I rarely had an emotional response to what happens in a mission or any questing for, say, other games. So the fact that in the storyline there is something that happens, I'm not going to spoil it for you, that to me it evoked me, I had to take 5 minutes because it was pretty wow. It was...
Yeah, we might not actually be able to finish this.
Oh, we can. We gotta... I mean, we keep killing some stuff. It's just,
There's just a bunch of them.
It'll keep spawning the walkers as long as we're taking out the big battleships, and damaging the hull itself, or the big... Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. My new way of taking out or handling the I don't know if you saw what I was doing. The new way I was taking out the ships that were doing the big death rays was I just went full on offensive and blew them up first. And yes, I'm slowly backing up while I am fighting the giant walker, doing as much damage as I can.
Oh, there we go. I got a beat on him now.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Get some power-ups here.
I'm luring, or maybe I might have been luring him away.
Okay, the walker is down. Now we just need to play cleanup here.
But,
there we go. Cheers.
So yes. You choose your faction. Okay, I'm trying to remember where I needed marks. I probably need discovery marks on this guy.
I need gamma, so I went with gamma marks. Okay, so you just saw a pretty intense space battle there. The ships are what we were highlighting. The Romulan ships are called a Warbird class, and they are unique to the Romulan Republic. These ships have a lower power levels, subsystem power level, than the Federation, the Klingons, or the Dominion. Typically, it's this panel right here, just to the left of your shield grid. On the other ships, they all start off with a base rate of 50. On the Romulan ships, they all start off with a base rate of 40. So you actually have 40 less points than everywhere else to spread around. To counter that weakness, you get the battle cloak, which is usable on every Romulan ship. It does not take a console slot. It is just baked into the ship. Plus, you get the singularity powers that you saw me using in that fight. Primarily, I stick with the quantum absorption and the energy weapons singularity overcharge. But occasionally I'll pop out the others as well. But those two are the ones I use most often.
The plasma shockwave's not bad. Especially, yeah, if you have if you're in the middle of a swarm, it's amazing because it does a lot of damage to. Well, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but when you can hit like everyone around you, it adds up a lot faster.
We're also going to run a mission here called Memory Lane, or at least start one. So if my two partners, who I will re-invite to party here.
That's the one thing I think they need to, fix.
Yeah, the TFOs will kick you out of party. Let's see.
It should remember where you were. Memory Lane.
The game's still growing. Okay, so if you guys will head over here to Memory Lane, we'll start that mission here. But again, the Warbird class, I thought I did. Did you not get it? Let's see. Memory Lane.
There, I'll replay. Do.
This mission highlights some of the story that the Romulan Republic's going through. Okay, so we talked about the Warbirds, we talked about the TFO, race options. So this mission in particular highlights some of the story that's going on here. The Romulan Republic is not the same group of Romulans that you see in the shows. Mostly what you see in the shows would be the Romulan Star Empire, which is like the soldiering arm. There are a few episodes where you see the Tal Shiar, which are their intelligent arm of the Romulan government. And actually in Picard, slight spoiler here, they introduce you to a new Romulan group called the Yat Vash, which is like the Tal Shiar of the Tal Shiar. That group has not been introduced in STO yet. I'm kind of expecting it to come up at some point in time, but it has not yet. The story, let's see, are you guys here yet? We ready to go in? Looks like Tabby might already be in.
I'm here.
Here we go. All right, let's run this mission.
Run it.
We got some things to blow up here. I'm going to go after this destroyer over here.
It looks like we're not the
Tabby's in the... I'm going to always say the name wrong. The Dideridex, or that style of a ship?
Yep, that is correct.
I'm great at butchering names. If you have never known me, you know, that's something you can count on.
Oh, I went through a nebula and it killed my shields.
Nebulas, they do stuff.
Yeah, don't fly through nebula. Gotta regen my shields now. Back to the Romulans, that's what I was talking about. So, in the shows, they presented the Romulan people as being treacherous. If I can talk correctly, treacherous. But that drastically changed with 2009's Star Trek. In that reality of Star Trek, the Romulan homeworld is destroyed. What people don't realize, though, is that the Romulan world that's destroyed is actually from the Prime timeline. And then the rest of that show takes place in an alternate reality where Romulus was not destroyed, or at least not yet. But that you get the older version of Spock that is then in that universe and so on and so forth. I don't want to give too many spoilers for the movie. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because STO takes place in the universe where Romulus was destroyed. We need a healer. Grebog, one of you guys need to pop over and bring a healer with us.
I don't know what I have for a healer.
Here, I'll just take that
He
one.
might be my healer.
I'm sorry, I stole that from you. There, you have it back, Tabby. All right, good enough.
That's my healer. Unless that's your healer. You're taking your healer, I'll take someone else.
I don't believe that is her healer.
Okay, I'll take Heaven.
I get that to Tabby. So, when Romulus was destroyed, the Romulan government basically split into three factions. You've got the holdovers from the Romulan Star Empire, but you've also got, oh hey, I'm not in my correct uniform. You've got the Tal Shiar, which tries to take power, and then you've got the Romulan people, who basically decide that they are tired of answering to a government that doesn't care for them. And then the Tal Shiar starts developing allies, such as the Alachi and the Iconians, which is where the player campaign comes in. You start on a colony. It's actually the colony we're at right now, on Viranat. You start off on a colony as just a regular citizen, and you're kind of thrown into the adventures of the game as your colony falls under attack. You go from there to basically helping to build a new government that cares for its people, which is something the Romulans in the show you never see.
Well, just like any faction, you're going to have people that are one way and, people are not all the same.
That's true. Although, like many sci-fi shows, Star Trek does kind of fall into the category of typecasting various characters. Like in The Next Gen, Romulans are all backstabbing bad guys. In TOS, the Klingons are the big villains who rather shoot first and ask questions later. In Deep Space Nine, you get the Cardassians, which, although they're not quite as treacherous as the Romulans, you certainly get the feeling that you can't really trust them. So it just kind of falls into that. Now, DS9 does a pretty good job later of showing like Cardassians that aren't necessarily bad guys and so on and so forth. But why is there a Borg thing looking at me? That's weird.
I think
that's a little creepy.
That might be Tabitha. I don't know.
There's a giant Borg eyeball looking at me.
Tabitha loves the combat pets. So that might be something Tabitha, yeah. Which is one of the reasons why Tabitha is excited about the new TFO rewards, because there
combat
are
pets. Yay! Yeah. Bugs. More bugs.
Where's the raid? Where's the can of raid?
Right?
But I kind of like that they show the other sides to some of these factions that they've put into the shows. Like not all of them are this way. Though DS9 did a decent job with the Cardassians. Like, later, hey, some of them are artists, and some of the,
Yeah, there's the colonists that, well, anyway. Spoilers.
It's fine.
Running a game, especially a game based on such a beloved franchise, there's a lot of material to pull from to finish up stories or to tell stories that weren't told in the shows. It's very much like a novel in that way. When you write a book, you can get pretty in-depth in various races, and you get that with a game too. So you get to see an aspect of the Romulan people that were never explored in any of the shows, which is nice. You also get to find out more about the Remans. The Remans were talked about in the shows. I'm down, guys. Ran into a squad of Klingons.
Are you not with us? No, you're not. We will come and save you here in a second.
I respawned. It's all right. The Remans were mentioned a couple times in the next gen, but you don't really see them until you get to the movie Nemesis, where they are portrayed as the big bad guys. So it's nice to see some growth on the Reman people as well. There's actually a character introduced in STO named Obasek, who you interact with a lot. Yeah, he ends up being a really, really kind of a cool guy, even though he starts off as something of a villain. Oh, here we go. Door. Yep. Had to scan a door. The Remans were originally a slave race to the Romulans, or at least, maybe not slaves, but at least second-class citizens.
I would put it that they were, like, the Remans were technically Romulan at one point. They were essentially the part of the Romulan race that went below ground, became the miners, pretty much lived their entire lives below ground, and eventually that kind of broke them away from the way Romulans typically look and act a little bit. They kind of became their own society. You know.
Well, and they developed the psychic portion of their minds, which most Romulans don't have. But keep in mind that Romulans are an offshoot of Vulcans. Therefore, they do have certain mental attributes. And the Remans explore that to the point where they have learned how to weaponize it and basically run some mind blast type things, which you can actually do in the game as well if you play a Reman.
Hey, someone was issued a special requisition choice pack. I should probably turn that off.
I saw that. It's not me. Here, let me start this fight. So in the game here, what we're doing is we went back home to figure out what happened and try to find evidence that the Tal Shiar were involved. The Klingons were brought here with a very similar thing. Somebody contacted them and told them that we were Tal Shiar agents. So we come here and we get into this bit of a brawl. They think we're assassins. We think they're bad guys. Big misunderstanding, and lots of people die.
See, when we were here, it was supposed to be a farming community and all that. And while the Klingons keep telling, like, no, you're not. You were housing weapons for the Tal Shiar. You were planning war. We want, yeah.
Enemy ship on sensors.
And now we're back in a space battle. Yay, space fight. I like the space fights better.
Space fights.
Ooh, lots
of
torpedoes.
Oh my, wow. I hit focus frenzy and then like all of my like stuff triggered at once and lots of things died.
I saw that. That was kind of impressive.
So this has firepower. It doesn't have much survivability yet. That will help with me getting more of a better space set. Would probably help me a lot. I think that's the one thing I could say about STO in general is like they're really good about story.
They are good at story, and they're good at going back to the various shows and finding storylines that were never finished, and then trying to find a way to finish it. It's worth noting though that a lot of the story in STO is only canon to STO. They try to incorporate new things as it comes up in the shows, especially since we have current running shows now. But there are discrepancies, and you kind of have to realize that STO is its own continuity. For example, a big one is oh, and I just forgot the character's name. On Voyager, they introduce some Borg children, and they become rather attached to Seven of Nine. And although most of them eventually find their home, there is one in particular, Icheb, that stays on board. In STO, you can find Icheb sitting on, I believe it's Starbase 24. You can find him on a starbase. He's a Starfleet officer. He is growing up. But in Star Trek Picard, he kind of meets a grisly end. And considering Star Trek Picard takes place before the timeline of STO, obviously STO cannot be canon to that show. Now, there's ways to explain that. I mean, Star Trek has all kinds of things with quantum duplicates and time travel and copies of people, so you could explain it away in that sense.
Alternate timelines.
Correct. And STO may do that at some point in time, but currently they have not. So there are discrepancies between the current shows and STO. So you just kind of have to realize it is its own thing. But they've also incorporated things from the novels and whatnot. So it's kind of an all-in-one. They even brought in 2009 Star Trek. You can get the ships from that show in STO, and they explain that by having an episode where we visit that quantum reality, which was interesting way to kind of incorporate all of Trek, and good storytelling.
Yeah. Well, they've a lot of the shows that are like Picard has like that. There's a ship now from Picard that's in the game. Like all the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, they've brought in some of that stuff. They've explained it with, I think J.J. Abrams is the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah,
and
that's what they're calling it now.
I don't know what they might call the Picard timeline. That will be interesting.
The Picard series takes place in the Prime timeline, so it's still in there with Voyager and Enterprise and all the rest of them.
To a point. Because it's STO is slightly different than, yeah.
Well, yeah, as we're saying, you gotta realize STO is its own continuity. I was just talking about Star Trek Picard. It's in the Prime timeline. But how canon it is to STO, we don't really know yet. Although they have incorporated the ships. You can get both the La Serena and the, what are they calling it? The Inquiry class.
Yes.
You can get those out of the Phoenix prize packs. Let's see here. I think we've ran down, other than just going over story, which I highly recommend everybody play through. You hunt down a lost crewman's sister at one point. You discover the truth behind the destruction of Romulus and Remus. It answers a lot of questions. And the whole Romulan story is also rooted in the Iconian War, which is an aspect of STO that they've built up since launch. The demons of air and darkness are mentioned way back when STO first launched. There was a couple missions leading in that direction. And eventually you come to a head in a series of missions titled the Iconian War. But it's all rooted in the backdrop of the Romulan story. So if you're playing STO, I highly recommend you make a Romulan, even if you don't want it to be your primary character. You can just use it to run through the story and make sure you know all the backstory.
There's a lot of good story, and even going through a good ways into some of the let's see, because I know the Wastelands, that was interesting how that was different playing through as the Romulan side. Of course,
I'm going to run over, while we still have a few minutes here, I'm going to run over to New Romulus. There's a character there that I would like our viewers to see real quick.
That's also a good thing to explain. New Romulus, you can go to as a Reman or Romulan if you're part of the RRW. Well, I guess the W is the Warbird. But if you're part of the Romulan Republic, you are welcome to come there, much like you could go to, Earth Space Dock and have that as your hub. Romulans, no matter which faction you choose, you can come to New Romulus and report in, and you get a lot of the same features that you would other places.
There's also the Romulan Flotilla, which is a collection of NPC ships that you can go visit, and you have access there to a lot of the amenities that you have on ESD and DS9. So it's another social hub. New Romulus can be visited by any character, but the Romulan Flotilla, I believe, is specific to the Romulan characters.
Correct. There's different sections of New Romulus for... Because you can go down there. Well, one, there's an embassy there for fleet holdings. And then there is the command center, which is what I was talking about, which is more like Earth Space Dock. And then there is the, there's a whole quest area outside of the command center and the embassy.
There is. You can get Romulan marks down there. Oh, Gree, you didn't come with us.
Oh, well, here, let's see. I can. You're just that New Romulus itself, right?
Yep. So as I said before, they tried to wrap up a bunch of incomplete stories or pull characters from various shows. This gentleman right here on my screen right now is a Romulan named Datan. Datan is the current leader of the Romulan Republic. Don't remember exactly what title they give him. Is it proconsul?
Sounds right. I'm sure Tabitha knows. Tabitha is way better on the details than I am, which is why when Tabitha is offered to help us do show notes, I'm like, okay, sure. I also know Tabitha really has embraced like the Romulan faction and a lot of the because I'm pretty sure Tabitha's main is a Romulan, so
I believe that's what she was saying earlier. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I believe it's proconsul.
I just know in game she'll be like Jolan True, so,
Oh, that's the Romulan greeting. Yes. Jolan True. Datan, the reason I wanted to come here and introduce this character to our viewers, Datan was actually introduced in Star Trek The Next Generation as a young man. He is one of the reunificationists that follow Spock during the episodes Reunification Parts 1 and 2. So that's obviously a poll that the writers of the game did to have some continuity or some continuation there. So Datan in STO was a reunificationist, follower of Spock, wanted to reunite the Vulcan and Romulan people, and now he's become leader of New Romulus. So he's kind of moved up the world.
Or New Romulus, as our allies call it, will someday be as great as what we lost. Kylo is in charge of the staging area. He can give you more information about.
Apparently, this character has never been to New Romulus before, which is a little weird since I'm playing a Romulan. So I'm doing the cutscene here.
Adopted home to treachery. Made this world be the home we have sought for so
Yeah,
long.
I was like, I apparently have never come to New Romulus on the quest side either. So I was just
That's funny. I know I've been to the command center before, so that's interesting. You can also find Obasek here on New Romulus. He's a faction leader of the Remans, and they have built an alliance with New Romulus, with the Romulan Republic, as it's called. So everybody kind of on the Romulan side ends up in a happy place, I guess. I mean, they're still fighting a couple different wars with the Alachi, the Tal Shiar, and Empress Sela, but the Remans earned their freedom. So kind of an all around happy ending, even if the path to get there isn't so happy. Let's see. I see comments over here, mainly from Tabitha.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions before we close out for the day? Questions about Romulans, Romulan Republic, Tal Shiar, Empress Sela.
If you come to the questing area, you can get into. Well, I think it'll let you go to either the high command area, like the command area, if you are Romulan. But I know you can get to the embassy no matter what if you run up to the doors that I am at.
I believe to get to the embassy, you have to be part of a fleet, don't you?
Well, you do have to be part of a fleet. I mean, there are fleets out there. I know of one that is.
But over here, actively recruiting. Yeah, me too, oddly enough. Which, actually, so we have decided to kind of talk about that in our next episode. We are going to highlight the social aspects of the game. That would include your friends list, your fleet projects, just general chat, zone chat as it's called, in game. So we're going to highlight that aspect of the game so you guys can see that. We'll answer questions, of course, as always. But the next episode, social aspects. Oh, there's a tardigrade right behind me. Hope that thing doesn't try to eat me. Those are mean.
If you are wanting to learn more about our fleet, the easiest way is to go to aie-guild.org. And that's... We are a multi-game guild, and we'll go more into a lot of that next time. But that's the first place to start.
So, just before we close out here, Tabitha is in the forefront on my screen. She appears to be playing a female Romulan. And Gretag here is a Reman. But he's wearing the New Romulus, the official New Romulus uniform. So that's what the soldiers of the New Romulus wear. My character, Nonara, is wearing... Well, if I can get out of the way so you guys can actually see her uniform. She's actually wearing the Khitomer Alliance uniform. So you get some differences there. Tabby is also wearing the Romulan Republic uniform, although she has the more green option, which is used by some command officers. A little bit of a darker shade of green. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to leave you there today. Hopefully we answered some questions and you guys enjoyed us highlighting the Romulan Republic.
Apparently the tardigrade, his name is Fluffy. In case you missed that.
I saw that. His name was Fluffy. She really likes those. You really do like those combat pets, don't you, Tabby? I don't use them so much anymore. I used to. All right, guys. Well, as always, I will once again leave you by quoting John Delancey as Q at the end of All Good Things. See you out there.
Live long and prosper.